inducted into Camp Sherman. It's just outside of Chicago in Illinois.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. First camp.
And, so you were there for how long?
Probably a couple, 3 weeks till they got us oriented. And we had an orientation there. And then I was shipped down to Camp Wheeler, Georgia. That's where I took my basic training.
Oh, yeah?
And on D-Day, we had been shipped up to Camp George E. Meade. And they didn't lose as many people as they thought they might in that invasion. So they gave us more training. We went back down to Camp Van Dorn, Mississippi. We were down there for about 6 weeks, and then we came right back up to George E. Meade again. And it wasn't fooling that time. We went.
Yeah. So during these training camps, what were you doing?
Marching, drilling, exercising,
Mm-hmm.
mostly building you up, you know. And after you had a certain amount of training, they took you out on what they call bivouac. You'd be out there for a week, just they would bring the food out, and you lived in a tent, kind of like combat.
Mm-hmm.
You used to.
So probably the first part though was your physical training, like.
Yeah, at first, guys were awfully out of shape. After you walked a couple, 3 miles, some of them was falling out.
Just walking.
Yeah, and after about 6, 8 weeks, you go by that spot, you know, you have another 10 miles, and everybody was, in that length of time, they built them up.
Wow.
They could take it.
Uh-huh. So what kind of training was there? You'd wait, would they wake you up real early in the morning, the drill sergeant would be screaming, or?
There would be a sergeant come in, turn the lights on in the barracks, and everybody got up.
What time?
I imagine it would be around 6, probably. When you got ready and had breakfast, and your day began.
Mm-hmm. And they'd march you. Would they make you run at all?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That they did.
And like push-ups and.
Lots of push-ups, calisthenics.
Fun stuff, huh?
Yeah. Well, they built you up.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I had to do it, right?
Yep.
So how long did that type of the boot camp? How long did that last?
I think it was around 3 months or better. 2.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard. 3 months.
Yeah.
It
was hard.
And what were some of the drills you would do? Like, because I know nowadays they have like maybe you'll like climb some rope and then you'll like.
We did that.
Yeah.
Swinging on the rope, cross rivers, did all those things.
Yeah.
Of course, we went out on the firing range too.
Okay.
For a couple of weeks of shooting. Lots of big marches, 10-mile march, 12 march. Some of it was slow, and others was speed marching. Speed marching was as fast as you can walk.
Yeah. So basically, you'd get up, you'd have breakfast, you'd train till lunch, then you go out and you train till what time? Like 4 or 5, 6?
Probably around 5:36 something.
And then what would you guys do?
Well, they let you out then, and you could go to the PX if you wanted. They had.
What's the PX?
Well, it's kind of like a store. You could buy anything in. You could buy near beer. It was a 3.2, I think, very low.
In alcohol.
You could drink that stuff all day and not get drunk.
Yeah.
They had all kinds of pop there, and they had candies. You could buy anything you had money to buy.
Did they pay you guys good?
$21 a month. You call that good?
Yeah. So you were making more on the farm.
Oh yeah.
Because you said you got like $1.50 a day.
Yeah. Of course, you got your food and
Stuff
lodging.
paid. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. So you're just saving it all.
And of course, when you went overseas, well, you got combat pay. So I think I had about $55 or so. But I had my mother that
Take
I
care.
took on mine. So even though I would take, I think I had to put in, I think I had to put $28 of my money in. So I ended up with probably around $21, $22 by the time and she got $50 a month.
Mhm.
So a lot of it came out of my pay.
Mhm. And so were you helping her keep the farm?
Oh,
Or was
when my dad died, we sold the farm.
Oh.
We moved her into Fort Sunlight. We bought a house there.
Oh, okay.
We 3 boys went in together and bought the house. But she had a little money from the farm too.
Uh-huh.
We bought the house for $1,500. Yeah.
1,500. How was it? A big house, small?
It had 2 bedrooms upstairs, and we could have bought houses similar for around $700-800, but they didn't have an indoor bathroom. This one
Mhm.
did. And we sold it for $5,400. 20 years later, when my mother died. And the guy that we sold it to, he lived in it 20 years, and I heard it was going for $22,000. That's how much it went up. That'd be about 40 years.
Wow. So, did you, when you were in your training, did they assign you to the division or the regiment that you were going to be in when you went over to Europe?
Training was battalions in the regiment. I was in a regiment.
Uh-huh.
But then when you went overseas, you were assigned to a division. You was also in a regiment, in a battalion, but
Uh-huh.
part of a division.
Okay.
There's 3 regiments to a division, around 15,000.
Wow. Now, how do they decide who gets what job? Like, I know you said Donkey didn't have good eyesight, but like, do they base how well you shoot? Maybe if you shoot real good, they'll make you a machine gunner, or?
I didn't think you could kind of volunteer. I know that when we went overseas, we just was one great big group of guys, and sergeants was coming around and yelling for riflemen, machine guns, and of course I trained on mortar. So when the guy yelled out mortar, mortar was the smartest thing I ever did,
Yeah.
because you were back a little ways as a rule.
Is that why you picked that?
Well, I was familiar with it too, so
Uh huh.
I thought I would like it better than the rifle.
Uh huh.
So I took the mortar, but most generally you didn't have it was whatever they needed. They lost people in the mortar division, then they wanted some people that
Right.
has been trained on mortars.
Uh huh.
And of course, if you were on a machine gun and somebody was trained on machine guns, why, that's the ones they wanted.
Mhm. So, would you have been able to know what you might have done if you hadn't said, "Yeah, I'll do mortar"?
I've been a rifleman.
It's a lot more dangerous. Well, you're up on the front line.
Well,
Right.
I was up at the front lines anyway, and we wasn't far back
Yeah.
on our mortar. It was close support mortar. But some of the riflemen had to go out at night on patrols, which I don't think I'd have cared too much about. It was dark.
Yeah.
Try to get an enemy soldier. So I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
There was some benefits. Not much, but a little bit.
Okay. So, which division were you assigned to then?
8th Division.
The 8th Division.
Golden Arrow.
Golden Arrow, that's what it's called? And your job was mortar, right?
On the mortar ship.
And explain what those are.
Well, it's a tube and you drop a shell in it,
Mhm.
and it projects it into the air. Now, ours would go maybe a mile and a half, depending on the elevation
Mhm.
shot at.
So did you get pretty good at your when you had your training? Did you get pretty good at using it? Like, could you actually see that far, like where it was going,
Oh,
kind of?
You had a forward observer that would watch it land and tell you how to adjust your fire.
Oh, okay.
And the 81 then, the mortar would go about 3 miles. That was a much bigger shell. And that's what we trained on, was 81, but I ended up in a 60.
So were they much different as far as how you shoot it?
No, they were very similar. Then towards the end of the year, the 4.2 came out, which is a bigger yet. It was a shell about as big as a 105 was.
Uh-huh.
They used them a lot. That would go 4 or 5 miles.
Wow. And what other kinds of weapons training did you receive?
Well, you got everything in the infantry.
Like grenades?
Some grenades. And you had bazooka, a little bit of bazooka.
Oh, was that fun?
It's all right.
Yeah. Does that have a big kick?
Bazooka wasn't bad. It was the grenade launcher that kicked. It went on the end of a gun. And the shell that you used was gas propellant. That kicked like blazing.
Yeah. A lot, like how much worse than like a 12-gauge shotgun?
Twice as much. Probably.
Twice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But
So while you were doing this training, did you become good friends with like one particular person, or?
well, you kind of would find a buddy, and mine was Ray Seaward, and we kind of buddied up together. So, yeah, you become very close to him.
Mm-hmm. Now, where is he from?
He was from Maine. We were both wounded about the same time. I was wounded, and later on he was wounded. But I got back to aid station, and I guess he was shot in the collarbone here someplace, and he was walking back, and he got into artillery barrage, and he got knocked out. And when he came to, there was 3 Germans standing over. They took him prisoner. So from that time on till the end of the war, he was a prisoner of war.
Wow. Did he ever? Did you talk to him after the war?
We went out there and visited him on one of our trips, and I stopped, and we went out and had lunch together, and we went over to his place and had
It's nice to
dinner
see
with
him.
Yeah, it was very nice to see him. Yeah, but he wasn't too good being a prisoner of war. He was quite nervous.
Just from that.
Yeah.
Did he tell you anything about it, like the conditions in there?
Well, they were bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight.
They didn't feed him good, and was he in like a
work him.
yeah? So did they make him work?
I don't think so. No, he was just locked up. So.
And was it a small cell? Like,
Oh no, he was out. They had it all fenced in, and he could go out and exercise. But there was guards all the way around.
yeah. What part of Germany was he in, or was he in Germany?
He was in Germany. He was up near the Elbe River there, someplace.
Wow. So that was your main buddy though throughout the fighting there. And now did you write back home often when?
Oh yeah. They were reduced letters. I don't know if you ever seen one. Or not.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And it was just one sheet.
Not really that late.
That's all you'd get per letter.
Yeah. And of course, they went in, they looked them over to see that you wasn't giving them out any information.
Yeah.
And they'd be blacked out if you put anything down.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't tell where you were. But I used to, my mother knew where I was, because I'd say a family member, and it would be near
Uh-huh.
one of the towns that I was near.
Yeah.
And have any member of the family by that name.
Yeah. Huh.
So she figured it out pretty well.
Wow. Okay, so would you say that, well, how often would you write home?
Whenever we got a chance, maybe once a week.
Oh, yeah?
And of course, she was always glad to get mail. That was a plus.
Uh-huh.
And my mother would write, my sister, and my sister-in-law would write, so
Uh-huh.
I get quite good letters.
Yeah. Did you miss home at all?
Oh, yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah.
All the time.
Uh-huh. And, so when you left boot camp, you were in everyone was in good shape?
Yeah.
And would you say it prepared you well enough for what you encountered in France? The actual fighting?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And, okay, so I guess now let's go on to when the U.S. actually entered the war. Like, what caused the U.S. to get involved in the war?
Well, actually, what really got us in was when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
The next day we were at war.
Now, why do you think why did the Japs why did they bomb Pearl Harbor?
Try and take us over, and they knocked out a lot of boats, boy. I tell you,
Uh-huh.
if you go to Pearl Harbor and see what they did, that was a terrible blow.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Was the U.S. just not prepared?
we didn't expect it. They were all sleeping. They should have been awake, and they should have had guys on those guns.
Yeah.
Would have been able to shoot a lot of them down.
Yeah.
They lost a big part of a fleet there.
Now, was it most of our Navy over there? I mean,
Fleet was in, not most of it, but there was a lot of it in the harbor there.
yeah. Huh. And so when the U.S. entered, like, what were the women back at home doing? Like, most of the younger women, they were working in the factories, right?
Yes.
Pretty.
Some men were inducted in the army where they had to take over,
Yeah.
and they did. Good job.
So after you finished all the training, like you were sent over to Europe, right?
We went back down to Mississippi, and then we came back up and went across. But
Uh-huh.
I was in as a replacement. I joined the outfit at Brest, France.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
I wasn't in the invasion or anything.
Yeah.
A lot of the heavy fighting was over with.
Yeah.
After Brest, we went right down into Luxembourg and through Belgium. And we just did a little holding there for a while before we went into Germany.
Uh-huh. How did you get over to, you went over on a boat, right?
A big transport, they had about 65 boats in that group.
Were you guys scared of any, like, German submarines? Have you heard anything, or?
Well, that could always happen, but the troops was right in the center of that vast group of boats.
Now, what kind of boats were on the outside? Like
They had
supplies?
the soldiers and the aircraft carriers was more or less in the center. And there was a small, I guess you'd call it wasn't a battle wagon, it was, and he had these death bombs on it. And they kept circling all the time. Of course, they had radar.
Yeah, I got you, and they
He
just...
would just keep going around. They had a bunch of airplanes on that aircraft carrier.
ready to go if they needed
Oh
to.
yeah, they take it off in a minute. But they probably, unless that submarine was sitting there not running or anything, they probably knew he was there.
Wow. So they were really expecting there might be some submarines.
They're always expecting them.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of them out
Uh-huh.
there. Yep.
Wow. So that must have been a pretty amazing sight, like 65 boats.
Yeah, yeah. And when we got near the ports, they split up. Some of them went into England. We went up into Scotland.
Uh-huh.
We unloaded in Glasgow.
Now, as you got closer, like how long was that trip?
It was around 7 days.
7
if I
days.
remember right.
Uh-huh. And did you stay in like a real small, were they like bunk beds?
It was 3 high. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Bunk bed.
What kind of ship was it that you went on over on?
The one that I went over on was a French ship. It was one that was in that group
Uh-huh.
that got away. The Dunkirk wasn't Dunkirk. It was down there in Africa, I think. And Germans got a lot of them in harbor, but there's some of them got away. And they joined the French Navy and brought people across
Mhm.
to France and Germany.
And what did you guys do the whole time? Would you stand and look over? Well, what time of year was it that you went over?
Maybe it was August or something like that.
August. So it's a little warmer and.
It was fairly warm, yeah.
Mhm. So what would you guys do on the way over? All the soldiers and.
Not much you could do. Some we stood guard some, some of the time. You got KP duty occasionally.
What's that?
That would be in the kitchen, helping out.
Oh yeah. Peeling potatoes.
Could be.
Yeah.
And most of the time you're just around your bunks.
Uh-huh.
Played cards. You could walk around the deck.
Mhm. So did the aircraft carrier, that must just look huge looking out at that. Could you see it right there?
Yeah, fortunately it was in sight.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so the soldiers' attitudes on the ship, like as you started getting closer to could you see people starting to get a little nervous?
I don't think so, no. I think they were kind of getting on each other's nerves being in such close quarters.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think so, no.
Uh-huh. And so first you went over to Scotland, right?
We landed in Scotland.
Uh-huh.
But we immediately just walked right off the boat, right onto the train. Went down to Southampton. It was a roundabout way, but that's the way we went. We stayed there for 2 days before we got on another boat, and we went over to France.
Uh-huh. Now, and that was after, now by this time, D-Day invasion is already done.
Yeah. We caught up with our outfit at Brest.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a lot of men along the way, so we were replacing the ones they lost.
Now what kind of things were people? I'm sure you heard a lot about the D-Day invasion.
Oh, terrible! That's where we put in
Uh-huh.
Omaha. I don't know how they ever got in there.
Uh-huh. Do you think it was the wrong move for the way the U.S. did it?
It's the way they had to do it, I guess. It looked impossible.
Yeah. How come?
Well, the banks on the shore there was 15, 20 feet high, and they threw grappling hooks up there and tried to climb up. And then stuck their head over where the German had to shoot your brains out.
Yeah.
Of course, they had the battle wagons out there that was firing, and then they had the Air Corps. That's the only thing that helped them get in. Hadn't been for the big boats,
Uh-huh.
the airplanes. They never could do that.
Yeah. So basically they had men coming from the Germans knew we were going to attack, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so they had guys coming in on those little car boats almost, right?
Yeah, there were PT boats. They brought you in by boats. You were way out. And they took you off the big boat, put you in these small ones. the end spoke, that was one down, you just walked right off,
Uh huh.
you know.
And so the guys would do that, and they just got gunned down, or like what happened?
Oh, sure, the Germans were firing too, plenty of artillery coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible there.
Yeah.
And they, I don't see how any of them live.
Yeah. And so was it a pretty amazing sight, the liberated beach when you got there, like just the operation they had underway?
By the time we got there, they had some roads up where you can get tanks up. I don't think they even get their tanks up when they first landed there. They
Yeah.
stranded. But,
Yeah, I wonder how they did that.
I don't know. Then the Air Corps, I think they dropped the paratroopers behind the lines. That probably helped too.
Okay.
But they couldn't get their tanks going either.
And oh, did they prepare you for? Did they teach you anything how to defend yourself against, like, in case you ever encountered the Blitzkrieg?
We taught you bayonet training,
Yeah.
everything they could.
Yeah. Did they ever teach you soldiers French or German?
No.
No. Okay. And also on D-Day, wasn't the weather bad?
I think at that time they pretty much knew what the weather was going to be, and I think it was pretty good when they landed. But there wasn't anything real good. You didn't have a harbor to land in. You know, later on you had a harbor there. They just sunk boats around there. They made a harbor.
Yeah.
Brought boats in and sunk them.
Yeah.
Got them out when you came in. That was the harbor. But there wasn't anything there then.
Uh-huh. Okay, so the 28th Division were you in?
The 8th Division.
The 8th Division.
28th
Where'd I get-
Regiment I was in.
28th Regiment, okay. So you first got, when you got into France, you went to Brest first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what did you do in Brest?
That's where they assigned us to a division. We didn't have a division when we went over there. We just went over as replacements.
Okay.
And as soon as we got over there, then we were assigned to a company, and a regiment, and a division.
Okay.
So
Oh,
we
I
went
see.
to the 8th Division.
Okay.
Of course, that whole boatload didn't go to the 8th Division. Some of them went to other divisions.
Uh-huh. And you were still with your friend, what was his name?
No, he was already there. He'd been there for
Ah.
quite a little while before I came.
And then did you meet up with him later? Did you see him?
Yeah, well, I didn't know him before we met over there.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. And you were assigned to what company?
Company K.
Okay. Okay. Now, did that scare you? You went over there as a replacement, so that means that the guy's position you're filling is dead, right?
Not necessarily.
No.
I think that probably 10 wounded for every dead. You know,
Oh, okay.
but to be wounded and out of action.
Yeah.
It would mean that he wouldn't come back. Maybe some of them did come back, but some of them were hurt too bad.
Yeah. So that had to have hung in the back of your head, though, didn't it? Like,
It was all around you. You could see what had happened.
yeah.
So you knew just about what they had in store for you.
Uh-huh. And so when you were in Brest, what was the Company K's like first assignment? You know?
We attacked it. We went up through La Frette. It was right near Brest,
That's a city there.
a little city,
Uh huh.
and that was the first time I was in
Uh-huh.
action.
And your job was to just like, was the city occupied already by the Germans?
Oh, sure, it was living there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And was there a lot of like, can you remember like anything about the when you got there? Were they like, okay, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you know? Like, okay, you go right flank or.
Went pretty much as a single file right in. And then when you